Good morning, dear students. Welcome back again with a new lesson of Science 2 for 9th standard. Lesson name is Energy Flow in an Ecosystem. The world around us has two kinds of components, living and non-living. That we are knowing that living things which are around us, like for example, human being, plants, leaves, all these are living things we call it as biotic components. And which are non-living things like rock, stone, building, chair, all these are non-living things we call it as abiotic components. The abiotic factors, and the interaction with one another together form is called as ecosystem. Biotic and abiotic factors, they are interdependent on each other. It is not possible that biotic and abiotic factor can live independently without assisting each other. And together, the interaction between biotic and abiotic factor, we call it as an ecosystem. Food chain is a linkage of an organism with an ecosystem in which each link feeds on the other before it and is fed by on the other one after it. Like for example here, if I consider grass is eaten up by grasshopper is eaten up by frog is eaten up by snake is eaten up by eagle, and this long chain of eating one another or depending for food on other organism continues. Such a long chain we call it as a food chain. Now here, if more than four or five such links are there, which are dependent on each other for the food, such web of food chain we call it as food web. Food chain is a linkage of organism within an ecosystem in which each link feeds on the one before it and it is fed on by the one after it. Different food chain intervene with one another and form the intricate network is called as food web. In simple word, each chain consists of 4, 5 or more links. An ecosystem consists of many food chain that are interconnected at various level is called as food web. So here we can, for example, if I'll consider that snake eats rat. Snake is eaten up by eagle. Then rat eats small animals or tender parts of it or grains. So many links are there which are dependent on each other. Okay, so many such links which they are connected with each other. We call it as such network of chain of food. We call it as food web. All the all the producers in the ecosystem from first tropic level, second tropic level are primary consumers, and third tropic level are called as secondary consumers, and the apex one is called as top consumers or tertiary. Now that was about the energy level. Based on the level of the food on which they are dependent on each other, we are given the name as producer, consumer. Then producer we call it as plants, consumer we call it as herbivorous. Then carnivorous depending on the flesh of the other organisms. Then flesh and veg and non-veg part of it depending on the other organisms we call it as omnivorous. Likewise, the chain is there, we call it as topic level. Here diagram is there with the help of that which is explained here. You can see producers, we call it as plants. They are called as producer. Then herbivorous first tropic level, carnivorous second tropic level, omnivorous third tropic level. Likewise, this is called as tropic level, or we also call it as energy pyramid level. Now here you can see that the basal part is big and the apex part is small. Why? This gives clear indication that the Organism which is depending on the basal part, that is producer, they possess maximum amount of energy, whereas the omnivorous, that is at the apex area is small, implies that they get or we get a very small amount of energy from them. Energy pyramid. Each level in the food chain is called as trophic level. The amount of matter and energy gradually decreases from the producer at lowest level at the top consumer at the highest level. Further, now energy leaving a trophic level is always less than the energy that had entered it. Now, for example, you can see here at the basal part, phytoplanktons, 10,000 kilocalorie of energy is being produced. But when this trophic level reaches to another higher level, that is zooplankton, then there the amount of energy obtained is only 10% of the previous one. It implies that 90% of the energy goes into the atmosphere. Similarly, when we move to another tropic level, the amount of energy reaches to the next tropic level is 1000, which again gives indication that only 10% has reached to the next tropic level and remaining 90% into the atmosphere. Likewise, it carries on with the last also, that is human. We receive only 10 kilocalorie of energy, gives clear indication that 90% at each and every stage of the tropic level the energy is lost and only 10% is being transferred to the next topic level. Now such a pyramid gives indication about the energy. We call it as pyramid of energy. The sun is the most important source of energy in an ecosystem. There is loss of energy in the as the decomposer reaches the lower from one tropic level to another tropic level in the form of heat, but no part of energy ever returns to the sun. This flow of energy in the ecosystem is unidirectional. Gives clear indication that plants gets energy from the sun. That energy of the plant is eaten up by the animals. An animal does not receive all amount of energy which is obtained by the sun, which gives indication that the maximum part of the energy is released into the atmosphere, but never ever those energy goes back to the sun. So this way we can say that the flow of energy in the ecosystem is unidirectional, only in one direction. It only comes from the sun, but it does not goes back to the sun. But other ways, the flow of nutrients in an ecosystem is cyclic. Now here we are when we are dealing with the nutrients which is present inside the soil, which is present inside the mud. Now that nutrients is cyclic. Cyclic here implies it does not it once it is consumed or taken up by the plants. Now, suppose, for example, all the minerals, inorganic substances which are consumed or taken up by the plants use it for their development. The plants are eaten up by the animals. So, all these organic and inorganic substances goes into the body of the animals. After the animal dies, the decomposers bring back all the nutrients back into the soil. So what is happening here? Whatever nutrients was there in the soil or present in the biotic components, that nutrients goes back into the abiotic components. From abiotic components, again it comes back to the biotic components. It means that a vicious cycle is formed for the nutrients, and therefore we say that the nutrients is in ecosystem is in the form of cyclic, not unidirectional. The cycle operates continuously through the medium of biosphere by the lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere. These are different level in which the cycle is being operated from biotic to abiotic and abiotic to biotic. Now, types of biogeochemical cycle. Here, two types I have mentioned: gaseous cycle as well as sedimentary cycle. And accumulation of main abiotic gaseous nutrient materials found in the Earth atmosphere. Here, in the form of gaseous, whose examples are nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide, water vapor. Whereas in sedimentary cycle, the accumulation of main abiotic nutrients materials is found in soil, sediment, and sedimentary rocks. The example of it is that all these are found inside in the form of minerals. For example, we can call it as iron, calcium, phosphorus, etc. Further, last part of this, the various cycles. Cycle does not imply here mechanical cycle. Here cycle implies the cycle which is taking place inside the ecosystem. The first cycle in the ecosystem which we are going to discuss, which is very important part, is nothing but here carbon cycle. The circulation and recycling of carbon from the atmosphere to living organisms and after death which goes back to the atmosphere is called as carbon cycle. So here carbon is going from biotic to abiotic, abiotic to biotic, and abiotic to again biotic, and this process of transfer of carbon is continuous, and therefore this process we call it as carbon cycle. The best example for the carbon cycle, we can take it as a photosynthesis and respiration. During the photosynthesis, food is being prepared, of course, with the help of carbon dioxide. Oxygen is being released, and this oxygen is being consumed by the human being, and carbon dioxide is being given out. And so, here carbon plays an important role, or it becomes, or it is plays an important role in a carbon cycle. Then another cycle which we are dealing with, very important one, is oxygen cycle. Circulation and recycling of oxygen within the biosphere is called as oxygen cycle. The cycle includes with both biotic as well as abiotic components used in the atmosphere. And importance of O2. Now O2 is released in the process of photosynthesis where food is being prepared with the presence of oxygen only. Then combustion and decomposition takes place, all possible with the help of oxygen. So you can imagine the importance of oxygen. Then corrosion takes place, rusting takes place in the presence of oxygen. And the next cycle is here nitrogen cycle. A very important percentage of nitrogen, nearly 78% of nitrogen is there in the atmosphere. There also the transfer of nitrogen is moving from biotic to abiotic and abiotic to biotic, and the process continues. In during this process, various process takes place. Like for example, nitrogen fixation, nitrification, denitrification of nitrogen takes place. Nitrogen cycle. The circulation of recycling of nitrogen gas into the form of different compounds through various biotic and abiotic processes in nature is called as nitrogen cycle. Important components of nitrogen, definitely they are responsible for protein as well as nucleic acid. Then uses of nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen fixation, there are certain bacteria which they cannot, there are certain plants which they cannot directly absorb, the nitrogen, and hence with the help of certain bacteria they take in the nitrogen. This is called as nitrogen